Reverb is under new management. Well, it's soon to be. So, this is maybe a big deal in the musical industry as we know it. So, who's buying Reverb? This is the first time it's going back to sort of being independent, is what kind of, that's the pitch at least. So, Reverb has been owned by Etsy for, gosh, a long time now. I'm gonna get into dates here in a minute. I'll give you a whole timeline on Reverb's history in a minute. But Reverb is now owned by Servco and Creative Partners. Isn't that a funny name for something? So
Servco. I feel like that is the what's the movie where the little baby is like really the boss baby and it's like Petco. I feel like it's Petco.
Or like Umbrella Corp.
Yeah.
Sounds like it, but it's not. So Servco has its hands in all sorts of things, like petroleum, gasoline, all sorts of businesses, billions of dollars worth of things. Creative Partners is also sort of an investment group. Servco owns one thing that might be of particular interest to all of us called Fender.
A tiny little thing.
FMIC is now taking on Reverb.
Weird.
It's a weird thing. So stay tuned with us. We're going to talk about a little bit of the history of this, what the ramifications may be, what are people in the industry sort of reacting to and thinking right now as well, because I've talked to every sort of major shop owner. I've talked to a bunch of the users of this, because that's what we do all day, and sort of in our own thoughts on what's going to happen. So what is Reverb? First off, you don't know what Reverb is. It's an online.
How can you not know what Reverb is?
I mean,
if you're watching this video.
Some people might not, right? So let's just go to start. Reverb.com is an online selling platform akin to eBay, but for musical instruments only.
Just music stuff.
It was founded by David Colt in 2013, who used to also own CME, Chicago Music Exchange.
True.
He has sold them both. In 2019, he sold it to Etsy for $275 million.
Ooh. So he did all right.
So
he's probably still got a few dollars from that deal.
So 2025 just rolled around. That's what we're living in right now. And Fender, Servco, Creative Partners have now bought Reverb, and we don't know the numbers yet. We've been trying to find it. It's not out there. I've been looking sort of diligently. It's not been released. What is the guess? Is it higher than 275? Is it lower? Now is Reverb something that Etsy was wanting to dump because it's too much work, or is it something that's been making a profit?
I bet it was higher. I
bet
it's higher? Making a profit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my guess.
I think so too.
Know. How much do you think Fender directly influences or has to do with this? Like, is it just, Servco just owns all these
I think Fender
things?
has a big hand in this.
Okay.
A big hand in this.
Because
and intelligently so.
That makes a big difference, right? Like, because if they don't, it's a nothing. It's just a company buying another company like they do. That's what they do. But if Fender's got a little nudge in it,
I think every other manufacturer out there was like, well played. Well played, job, Fender. That's another little feather in the cap for Andy Mooney. There was being I've not only brought you this, but I have brought you this fine pheasant.
The platter.
The Lords of Servco.
Yeah.
Right here. Now this will generate money outside of what Fender does, or there's multiple things. What could happen here is I'd assume the algorithm will sort of push FMIC products a little bit higher.
Right.
It can also, if Fender's going to have a direct-to-consumer Reverb type platform, this is the best way in the world to do it because they own it all now, which I'm not a huge fan of, but that's because, in full transparency, we're retailers. We sell things. So we don't like the people we sell things of to sell themselves. It's just not a thing we're big fans of.
I mean, could this be a huge next step in the whole, we've talked about this a ton, when the manufacturers sell direct? Do you think this is like setting up more infrastructure for that?
Maybe.
Or is it just like we're going to wait brand new Fender products on Reverb so that people sell more Fender things and buy more?
I think it's definitely, the waiting's got to happen, right? The algorithm is so easy to tweak.
It'd be crazy if it didn't, right?
So let's think about it. As a user of Reverb, let's talk about how the history of it. So back when David owned it, and it was like in the CME period, it was pretty much like the cat's meow, or the bee's knees. It was the jam.
It sort of killed eBay.
It was
like eBay all the time for musical. I mean, in our own little sort of weird universe we live in.
We were living in that 4% charge, 4.5%, and sort of it went up slightly around there. Right now, after Etsy took over, the years that's been passed since then, I mean, it's really not that long. It's like a 5-year span, honestly.
Seems like
6 years. It does seem like the rates have more than doubled. So that's a substantial increase in fees. And are the services better? That's a question you have to ask yourself. I don't know if the services are better necessarily, or if just the product has become such a strong online seller that like, hey, we can charge this. You don't have anywhere else to go.
The monopoly.
Well, a little bit, because we were talking with everybody, you and Derek, backstage, as I like to call it, before
The green room.
I know, on our couch over there. Just like you guys search through Reverb a lot.
I do.
I don't. Like
Yeah.
I go to shops.
Right.
It's because I know the websites, I like the people, and I'm like, I feel comfortable there. Reverb, maybe it's the interface I don't necessarily enjoy as much, but or the colors, the orange. I'm not a UT fan, so it's weird. It's like I saw some orange. My wife was gonna buy me some orange Sauconys. I was like, nah, I can't do that. It's. And they looked really cool. They were like great looking shoes. Like I just can't. It's a little bit too UT for me. It's just a thing. I'm sorry.
That's funny.
There's like.
No, I understand.
It's like
My wife has a hatred of orange because of Clemson.
Oh, weird.
Because she's a Gamecock.
But that's not a real. That's
I
like
know.
that's like a 2-year school. It doesn't count.
I'm just. Ouch. Man.
I like to do that with my wife at UK all the time. Back to Reverb. Sorry. So what do you think is going to happen? Are the fees going to go up? Are they going to go down? Are they going to stay the same? Or will we notice anything for the short term?
I bet we notice nothing short term. And then I bet, a few months in, when everything's sort of settled out, they start to, percent more, 2% more. I bet they
half
keep
a percent's a exponential amount sometimes, like across the board of what Reverb does. And we have to like sort of back up. Let's back up to Etsy for a minute. That's a train. We live next to a train station. Sure. Etsy makes billions in sales, like over $1 billion in sale every year. And so does FMIC. It's a funny thing. So you think of like Etsy makes more, I think, as far as overall sales. Isn't that weird? Like
there's so much crazy stuff.
Just moving through that. So it's a huge platform.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating to sort of think of. Then Servco's way bigger.
Oh yeah.
But is this going to operate not as it's going to be its own little sort of freeform thing again? Sort of is the pitch. So I don't know. I'm sort of hopeful. I'm throwing this out there. Everyone's gonna laugh at me. You're crazy. Maybe they'll lower the fees. Maybe they'll be like, hey, we already own this market. Let's make it even more of a thing where no one else can get into it. As far as like that creates the monopoly full force.
If it's hand in hand with Fender, I could see that, right? Like it's almost like they don't really care if they make money through the Reverb sales. If it's able to push more Fender sales to kind of weight the algorithm, to, like you said, to keep anybody else out of that. I could see that.
Well, because other places have tried. I mean, obviously eBay got sort of kicked out. Like Sweetwater Marketplace has sort of tried as well. But
it tries, but I don't think it's there.
It's not even in the same ballpark, unfortunately. It's a cool platform too. You should check it out if you haven't. It's but it's just not the size of that. Now, is the timing for this thing good?
Probably not.
Tariff.
Probably
this
not.
Terrifying tariff time. It's sort of a fascinating time.
But maybe it is, because maybe the used stuff explodes because maybe cheap guitars become not so cheap anymore.
That's the idea
Asian
too.
imports.
Well, I mean, because we were talking with our friends at Eastman and stuff, like, they've got to be sort of like, they're holding their britches right now. Like, we don't deal Eastman. We like the guys there. They make a great product and great guitar. But it's that for a company like that, this could castrate them.
Yeah.
Because it's not just guitars they make and all the things we like. They make B&O and they make violins and it's a huge ecosphere that could just the ships are going to stop coming in.
Right.
In their warehouses. They have warehouses here now that are filled up, but they're going to empty. And from our talks of what some of our friends that are in manufacturing sides, their tariff rates have gone through the roof.
Particularly from China specifically. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like so we'll see what happens there. It's like what are your thoughts on this being owned by a musical sort of entity, even though it's Servco and Creative Partners? What are your thoughts on that? Because Etsy was not a musical enterprise at all.
No.
It was just a money-making machine entirely. Do you think that will bring some more soul back to it? Or is it just a business as usual?
I'd like to say, yeah, of course it will.
We're hoping.
But I doubt it. My honest answer is probably not.
Well, Kerry Trainer's taken over.
Okay.
And he was the former head of SoundCloud.
Okay.
So there's definitely like a musical heartbeat in here. Right? I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Even if this isn't true, I'm pitching this to
Absolutely.
Kerry and his team there at Reverb, who they kick butt. Like, it's a great team.
Right.
They do a great job. It's a great product. Reverb is. It's but God, like, man, if you could somehow get those rates back to where, like, because a lot of people use that as a billboard almost. Like, you don't want to sell it because the fees are so high. So it'd be nice if,
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know if that's it's hard to ascribe this altruistic, we just want to sell dreams and we want all the kids to have guitars and musical instruments. I'm not sure I buy that. I don't even know if I think that for SoundCloud. Because SoundCloud used to be kind of neat. I remember years and years and years ago. But then it got to where, you had to subscribe, or maybe you don't. I thought it became
SoundCloud
really untenable, to use.
It did. It became sort of, what took its place? Just Dropbox?
I guess so.
I mean, kind of like it, because I remember SoundCloud was a thing for a bit, and then it sort of went away. Like, nobody I know uses it anymore.
There was SoundCloud, and then things like Bandcamp, where you
I remember
your
Bandcamp.
Stuff. I almost think it became so easy to upload your stuff through like a DistroKid
anything.
or CD Baby to all the streaming platforms, that those things kind of got swallowed up, especially when they were, you had to pay a fee to use them, and people had to download your music, and it was they just don't have the visibility, I don't think, or the reach.
So we're getting close to the end here. This is a big industry thing. It's probably the biggest thing that's happened all year. What I sort of alluded to it a minute ago, but just for fun though, as we start wrapping up, what do you think the guys at Gibson are saying over there?
We should have done this. God, they're like, respect, Fender, respect. You're screwing us, and we wish we'd have thought of it first.
Dang it.
Or we wish we'd have been able to buy it.
We wish we had the money and the capitalization to do that. Or that's what I kind of think too. But it's funny, right? It's I think Fender and Gibson are the two big players that fight it.
But when you think about like Servco money, back in Fender, they can do it.
That's different money.
It's different money.
And you got to still, we look at FMIC and like Gibson, all the biggest brands in our whole business. And then you look at something like Apple or Facebook. It's different. I remember when
so far ahead of that.
Fender was working out deals with Apple at one point. I was talking to their heads that were involved. They're like, it's hard for us to get Apple on the phone sometimes because we forget that they're so big they could buy us with a sneeze.
Apple and not care
now we
all.
own Fender.
And they're like, Fender went under. Oh, darn.
I know, that was just
Carry
a thing.
on.
Carry on, friends. Carry on. That's a song by Fun, isn't it?
They probably made bigger little missteps and blips with the new design of headphones or something weird. You know what I mean?
I mean, seriously, stay tuned over these next few months here as things start to change. I don't think you'll notice anything immediately, but I think you will notice some changes. I think they're going to be positive.
It could be.
And I know they're always investing more in ways to help sell the products faster, is how they sort of talk about when we get the notes from them. But I'm hopeful. I'm saying this again to the fearless new leader, that they'll look at their fee structure, maybe like, hey, we've sort of reached the top of the mountain here on fees. Let's figure out a way to get that reasonable again. People will push a lot more there. I know we would, because I love Reverb safety.
For sure, 1000%.
But the fees are sort of prohibitive for a lot of things.
Yeah.
But the security Reverb,
I like to think it'll get better till they lure us into their clutches.
Once again,
and they're like, bam, crush them.
And
20% fees.
What we're trying to say is we want Reverb to purchase us.
Yes.
Not the casino guitars, just
For
Jonathan and Baxter.
$275 million.
Well, I'll take $75 million is fine.
Whatever.
Reverb.
$5 million.
$5 million. You own us.
For sale for $5 million.
$500, Jonathan's for sale. We know that.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, it's that sounds. I wasn't going that way. Jesus, John, God, this is not a Nora.
Hey.
Best picture. Take the kids. Don't take the kids to that movie. No, there's gosh, we watched Havoc over the weekend.
Did you?
Yeah, we're done now. So thanks. Click like, subscribe.
Hit the bell.
So Havoc's the new film by the guy that did The Raid, and it's got Tom Hardy and Timothy Olyphant and a few other great actors. It's just an action. There's no plot. It's just shoot, shoot, bang, bang. And Sean and I were laughing when people get shot. They're it's hilarious. Well worth the hour and 45 minutes or whatever it was, just for fun. If you haven't seen The Raid or The Raid 2, those are really great.
Okay. All right.
Enjoyable too. But Havoc it's a fun movie. It's ridiculous. There's no plot, and the gunfights are absurd. But they kill somebody with a washing machine at one point.
That's what I'm talking about.
Sort of. I mean, it's funny. That's all I got. I think.
If you never dropped a washing machine out of a tree on New Year's Eve.
Have you done that?
Yeah.
God, of course you have. I feel like I've lived a life not led until I've lived Johnny's life.
Well.
Thanks for joining us again. Have a good night,
Yeah.
a better breakfast, and a great siesta.